All right, here we go again. Well, I opened up the box to smell the electric kettle before I would buy it because I didn't want to open it at home and then have to bring it back and all that. So I saved myself a trip. I don't know who would use that. And that was the question on the internet when I was researching them. Some of them, people were saying, I don't know who would use this. It's just horrendous. I mean, it smells like glue to me. I mean, worse than plastic. It smells like an epoxy glue. That can't be legal. It's a Farberware, fortunately. So while I was there, there was a cool kettle, but it was broken. It was like they used to use it on pickups all the time, electric guitar pickups. They use a burnt chrome appearance, like on a Harley exhaust, or it's got different hues of purples, blues, and pinks and stuff, like it's a burnt metal. So that was pretty cool looking kettle, and it was well priced, but they were broken, the ones that happened to be there. But somebody had, and of course God did this, had brought a Ozark Trail camping kettle, like a one-serving one, or two, like a 2-cup, 3-cup, 4-cup at the most, and had brought a kettle from the camping section. So I'm like, well, let me go to the camping section and see what they have. And it was there. So let's get back to MK Ultra and psychological warfare. When you look, I'm not fully in North Tyler. I'm going to stop for a second. However, there were a lot more minority people at this Walmart further north. So I'm hoping the person didn't mean that. However, when we heal, a lot of times we see a need to heal ethnic people a little bit more than we do, foreign nationals and things, than we do Americans at times. But we're not to steal the promise away from Americans and give it to foreign nationals without leaving the life, liberty, the happiness for the American citizen. So again, Satan does want me to heal them, wants me to be angry at them, and I could see that they were all having wonderful wife life and family life, and my own government denied me all of the above. So let's get back to where I was. So MK Ultra. If you read that Wikipedia article, and hopefully I'm not sinning against Dan Bongino, I can't remember his last name. Dan, the Secret Service man. That's what I know him as. However, if you use that Wikipedia article, it's pretty good because it lists some information from the documentation that's very pertinent. What effects they were looking for. Those effects aren't just drugging someone. It also requires a psychological manipulation. And of course, I explained how they can alter somebody's brain chemistry with stress and other things and elicit an effect where maybe a narcotic wouldn't be needed, although narcotics are used, regardless of what they want to tell you. Not officially. There is no official program to use narcotics against U.S. citizens. However, they didn't stop even one day from using narcotics against the U.S. citizen they want to use it against. Not even one day has MK Ultra ever stopped since it began. Just because they didn't use it that day didn't mean that it was somehow ceased. It was just they didn't need to use it. And of course, that need being a criminal need. So So again, look at all those types of things that they're looking to do to people. And if you listen to the deep state speak, and of course other people pick it up too because they see that as a talking point to diminish their enemy. But if you listen to them speak about how people, that can't be true because this person spoke this way and that way. But if you read at what psychological warfare, psychological torture, prisoner of war camp technology is designed to do, it doesn't count. See, this is the problem. When you don't have the control on your people, then all of these things they're saying actually incriminates them as being psychological criminals. So all these things that they're saying, that person can't be telling the truth because A, B, or C. But look here, MK Ultra, CIA programs were designed to create that in somebody's life. And you're running around all day when we know you're liars, we know you're torturing people, we know you work for foreign governments, you hand over the promise of the United States to foreigners so they can kill out U.S. citizens. We know all this. And you walk around pointing to this stuff that MK Ultra causes. And we know you're in the middle of MK Ultra. There's no doubt. So, again, very interesting day and age we're in. And their deeds were evil. They didn't want to come to the light. They despise the light. They hate the light. They hate the light so much, they're going to worship a devil and call it God. They're going to worship a demon and call it Jesus. Just so they can twist your minds as to what it all meant into the form of an anti-gospel that would destroy the very gospel Jesus created and God created. That's what they're doing. They're creating an anti-gospel. They're creating the same kind of state-run religion that they do in China and Russia. You're not going to preach in Russia if they say no. They'll arrest you like a Mormon. And some others. So again, the whole thing about coming down, the wall coming down, was used to take over the United States. They actually used it. Because they lulled us into a false sense of security. A bunch of people in the government sold out because they're no longer Soviets. And now those same people are now anti-Russian. Because you know why? Because they enriched themselves with oligarch money. And KGB, GRU, FSU power of an anti-power nature. Well, praise God in all that you do. No violence. I'm serious about that. Be peaceful. Heal in your community. Praise God. Pray for your neighbors. But all of your neighbors, including the minorities and the foreigners, even if they're not praying for you. But you always tell the truth. And if they're in your community trying to take over for the FBI or anyone else, make sure you speak out about it. Because we're not here to have a government run a mafia of a Nazi and communist nature. And that's who they are. But they're also known as the Beast. Praise God.